The Zambian President Edgar Lungu has justified his decision to impose a state of emergency by alleging that opposition parties are behind a string of arson attacks in the country, which he says were intended to, in his words, create terror and panic. End of quote. Lungu denied he was establishing a dictatorship in Zambia, which was until pretty recently a relatively stable country. And he says his political rivals are trying to overturn last year's election results.
The power that I have invoked will be reviewed by Parliament within 7 days, and Parliament will determine to approve or not to approve that proclamation. And Parliament will determine whether it will last 3 months or 6 months or 1 week or 2 weeks. The invocation of that power was not meant to harass people or perceived opponents in the political arena, but is to curb the ever-growing lawlessness which we have seen in the recent past.
Several fires, including one that burned down the main market in the capital, Lusaka, have been right in the center of this rising political tension in Zambia. Now, the state of emergency increases the police powers of detention and arrest. The government has also been increasing pressure on media outlets that support the opposition. Many in Zambia, of course, have raised concerns, deep concerns, about the current state of affairs.
When there is a state of emergency, that all the rights are taken away from us. So now, if my rights are taken away from me, for instance, how am I going to live? How can I live as a human being? No freedom of movement, no freedom of speech, no freedom of expression. You understand?
For me as a student, I think it's going to be inconveniencing if I'm going to have time limits as to when I'm supposed to go to school. I think it's going to be inconveniencing because I would have some time that I've set for myself maybe to study. So if I'm having those limits, it's going to inconvenience my work at school.
The state of emergency is to control the crime which is happening by the day of the time. Because as you can see, people are taking advantage of movement of people.